Hello, all you beautiful people out there. Thank you for popping in. And today we are going to be doing some fun little crafts with kids. I'm showing you a picture of my little duck that's got the funky little head. It looks like she's got a bouquet on the side of her head. We thought it was a tumor, but it only turns out to be feathers. Hope you enjoy our video today. I have a little helper that's going to help me today, and we are going to do some fun little crafts for kids. Hang in there, have a good time. If you like this, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you. For our first project, I have a little helper here who is going to do our first project for us. She is a young girl and she creates all her own little patterns and makes things. Today she's going to be making a little frog for us. Today we have she is going to be making a red, white, and blue patriotic little frog. And we are using fleece fabric, and she is cutting out some in blue. She's made two little patterns, which I'm hoping I can put in somehow and let you guys use these patterns to make your own. But she's going to cut two for the top part and sew them together because it makes it so they're a little more rounded at the top. And for the red, which is going to be on the top, she's just traced her pattern and cutting it out. She's amazing. She creates all kinds of things. She does costumes really well. She does everything. Okay, now she is going to sew her little red, the top part of her frog, together. She is using embroidery thread, and she's not pulling them apart. She's using the whole thing. And she threaded her needle, and now she's just going to sew along the edge so that the legs are going outside, and she's just sewing along the straight seam in the middle. How are you guys today? I hope you're enjoying your day. It's been a pretty good day so far for me. Now that she's come to the top of that seam, she's going to cut her excess thread off, and then she ties a little knot. Now I need to remind you, she created this herself. So therefore it is kid-friendly. Okay, she's got that one sewed together. Now we're using stars for eyes on this one, and so she's going to use some white embroidery thread or cream colored embroidery thread, and she's just gonna run that through those little holes on the button a couple times, and then she cuts off the excess and tears it apart and makes a knot. And then she will cut the excess off. And she will do the same thing for the other side. Kind of got her out of the camera there for a minute, but she's just going in and out of those holes a couple times. And where she's using all of the strands on her embroidery thread, she doesn't have to do it a lot of times, just a couple times. And so now she is going to tie that knot. And clip off the excess. Now she is going to put, with both the right sides together, she's going to put the blue and the red together and she's using some blue and embroidery thread. And again, she's not tearing them apart, she's using the whole strand. And now she's going to go all the way around that frog, and she starts right about the top part of the leg, and she will go all the way around that, leaving a space in between the two legs so she can stuff it at the end. So she's starting at the top of that leg, and then going around the leg, and then going around the rest of the frog. She's not very old, and she's been doing things like this for a real long time. I'd say about 6 years or so, where she makes things. She used to create a lot of costumes, but now she's more into like making animals and different things. She's a very talented girl. And it will take a few minutes to go around, but this is something your kids can do, and this is something you can do as a family gift. If you want to have a family night or something for the kids to make, they can make this. It's easy, the pattern is easy. And if she will let me, I'll try and figure out how to put that on so you can make a copy of it. If not, I would imagine you could go, and she just drew her patterns. She makes all her patterns and everything, but if all else fails, you could probably get a basic pattern off of the internet somewhere and just get an outline of it and copy that. Okay. She's going to go up around that last leg, and then she'll leave that space in between. Now she's turning it inside out so that the right side fabrics are out now. And now she's going to be putting some stuffing in it. You gotta stuff the little guys. And you want to make sure you're kind of stuffing in them little legs, you know, kind of, if you need to get a pencil or something to just kind of help get in them legs, you can do that. But she's getting him stuffed pretty good. And then she's going to sew up that space. We hatched way too many ducks this year. I have 38 baby ducks. Too many. I'm trying to give some away, but anyway, when we got through doing this, she says, okay, let's go wrangle up some ducks. And I have this one little duck that has this, like a little mohawk. Okay, right now she's making a tongue. And she's going to sew that little tongue on there. She's not really using a pattern. She's just making something that looks like a tongue. Again, with her blue, she's going to... And this was a piece of felt. She had a lighter blue piece of felt. Anyway, I have this little duck that has this little round tomahawk-looking thing. And I didn't know if it was feathers. And it was such a perfectly round, I didn't know if it was a tumor or something, so I asked her and her brother to go out and catch that duck so we could see if it was a tumor, if it was just the feathers. And it was just the feathers, thank goodness. But she's like, let's go wrangler some ducks. Now she's just tying that knot. And now she's going to put some white stripes across it because we're making them a little patriotic. And because this is a wider ribbon, she is cutting it in half. She's cutting a few ribbons. Just kind of measures as she goes. And I don't know how she does this, but when she goes to the stores and stuff and she finds what fabric she wants, she'll say, I want a half of yard of this, or a half a yard of that, or a yard of this. And I don't know how she predicts so well how much fabric she's going to use, but it's amazing to me. Anyway, so now she's just gluing on, and we're using a tacky glue, and I just got this from Dollar Tree. She's just gluing it on. I thought it would work better than the hot glue. And if you want to, you could probably do this part right here before you glued them, actually got it done, you know, before you sewed the red and the blue together, but it's okay. It's an easy project. It turned out really cute, and it's something easy that the kids can do. She's just cutting off the excess, putting a little extra glue where it needs it. You just give her the stuff and let her create, and she does a pretty good job at creating. And there she's done. She also made those other two little frogs that were there. And this is the end of the frogs. They're going to go out wrangle some ducks now. Okay, for our next little project, we are going to be taking some little Christmas ornaments that I got from Temu, and I'm going to take some white paint from Apple Barrel, and I'm going to take and paint one side, and I'm going to do two coats on them. But here I just did one, and then I flipped to the back and did some stuff and come back. But it takes two coats of the white paint. I also have some little clip arts that I found on the internet, and we'll be using them, but you can use any kind of sticker, especially if you're doing this with kids, which we're, you know, kind of is today a kids' day. So you can use any kind of Christmas sticker. That would work just as well. You can use scrapbook paper on the back if you don't want to use this. This is just contact paper that I got from Temu, and it works really well. But you can also use scrapbook paper, wrapping paper, or you can just paint it. It doesn't, you know, whatever you want. These are good things you can do with the family. if you want to have a fun little family night of doing crafts and stuff. And it's also, just if the kids, you want to do something with the kids, or they want to make some Christmas or Halloween or whatever decorations. Or if they want to make some little frogs, whatever. Just cutting the pattern out after I traced it onto that contact paper. Now I'm going to peel the contact paper off. Off the paper off of the sticky side of the contact paper. Then I'm going to set it down there on the ornament, and I'm just going to press it down and rub it, get all wrinkles and stuff out, and just put it on as good as you can. And then I'm going to just trim it up a little bit. And then I did take some sandpaper and I sanded it downwards on the side of the contact paper, just to give it a nice clean finish. You can do this if you want. You don't have to, like I said, it's up to you. And then I had a little spot that I don't know if the paper got tore or what, so I'm just going to paint that a white. And now here I am doing a second coat. Okay, after this has dried, I'm going to paint on some Modge Podge. And this brush I was using had a shedding problem. I was using a real, I think it's sable brush. I shouldn't have used that brush. But anyway, so I just Mod Podged them on. Then I put a layer over the top of it after I Modge Podged them. Like I said, you can use stickers, any kind of embellishment that you want. Now on the one, I cut out the little holes for where the wood ornament had little holes, but I come to realize I didn't really need to. I only really needed to do the one with the hole. Now here I'm making I'm using Chanel pipe cleaner in black, and I'm making a little bow. I made a little bow with some ribbon that had a little cow ribbon, and all I did is just folded it over, kind of did a loop, and then glued it in the middle and put another loop on top of it. Here I am doing the same thing, just using a loop. And I used a little loop, glued it in the middle, and now I'm going to take that Chanel bow, made 2 loops and wrapped the last one around. Cut off the excess. You can't really see it because of the angle, and I'm out of camera, but just glued them on. Now I'm taking a little green bell, and I'm just going to glue them on top of the bow. These don't have to be little cows. They can be anything you want them to be. You can have them a little more Christmassy or whatever you want. Now I'm taking that black Chanel and I'm just taking it around the edge just to give it a little more pizzazz. You don't need to do this, especially if your kids are really small. I'm just going to take that Chanel all the way around, and then when I get to the back, or get to the end there, I'm going to take it across the top. I'll show you that, I hope. I hope I got that on the camera. Okay, now I got it pretty much to the end. I didn't show it on that side, but then I took it across where it hangs. I took it across to make it a round circle. But you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. Or you could take it all the way around over the hook part, but I didn't take it to the hook part. I just took it up there to the top, and then I just kind of took it across there. Okay, and then after I clean up my mess a little bit, I'm going to take some jute. And Sassy thinks she has to be in the pictures. She wants to be a movie star when she grows up. And after I tie a little knot at the end of that loop, I'm just putting a little bit of glue on to keep it from fraying and to keep the knot secure. And again, Sassy's trying to make her big debut. Okay, for the next little one we're going to do a little activity. This is going to be a pumpkin, and I got these square wood things from Temu, and they were like about 80 cents a piece. I think they came in a package of 10 for $8. And I'm just painting this with outrageous orange. Then I'm gonna do the sides as well as the back side, because we're going to make a double-sided, one for Thanksgiving, one for Halloween, or fall and Halloween, whatever you want to look at it. And if you don't want Halloween, you can just do fall and Thanksgiving. Then when that dries, I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. And I'm going to do all around the sides, the edges, everything. I'm painting everything on this. But I wasn't sure at the time what I was going to do for the little pumpkin stem, so I didn't paint that part until later. And I'm just going to paint till it's done. On these again, I did use some clip art that I got off the internet, and you find free clip arts all over the place, or you can free printables, or you can just use stickers, depending on how advanced your kids are. If they're good with doing Modge Podge, do it. It's whatever you want to do, how big a mess you want to make. Okay, once I get this done, I'm going to take some nutmeg from apple barrel, and I'm just going around the edge, giving it a little age. It's really watered down, so it's just kind of making it look a little aged. It's also, I like to use it as a shader, to put shades and things in there. But again, if your kids are not all that advanced, you don't have to do this. I put some Modge Podge on my little cow print. And now this is, I think it's either tangerine or peach cream. And I'm just highlighting. And you can't really see too good. I'm just highlighting the one side. And on the white, the part that's white, I'm just going over really lightly. Just kind of dry brushing it over the white, because I had to, kind of trim it around. And that way it kind of takes the whiteness out of it, so it looks, so it doesn't look so, there's such a big distinction. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to, and especially if your kids are very young. I don't know why, when I get doing things, I get so anal about, painting and, having it look perfection, whatever, but especially with painting. So I'm just doing the same thing again. I'm just highlighting. And now after that has dried, then all the paint's dried, then I'm going to come through and I'm going to Modge Podge that. I'm going to do the whole side or inside. And then I'm going to do the back side. I kind of took a little bit of that nutmeg to shade the other side, the opposite side of the lighter side, and just making sure that that is get down, and or that decoupage seals that picture, that clip art picture really well. And depending on how advanced your kids are, like I said, you don't have to do this, or you could stop right here if you wanted, or after we put the stem on you could stop right there. But you know me, I have to go 9 yards further than I have to. Once that dries, I am going to now put on the little stem. I did go ahead and paint the top with the orange, and I'm just gluing a wooden bead onto there, and I'm going to use 3 of those little wooden beads. Then I'm going to glue the next one on top of it, and I didn't put them straight so they were going straight up and down. I kind of put it so there was a little curve in them. You might not can tell that, but okay. Once I get that done, gets it nice and secure, I'm going to start putting some decorations on right now. So what I'm using here is, it's off of a pick that I got last year at Dollar Tree, and it had little flowers on it, but these little ends that hold the flowers kind of look like dead tree limbs, and I don't know why, I just thought that kind of give it a fall Halloweeny kind of creepy but cute little look. So I'm just taking them, I'm just pulling them off. I didn't even have to cut them, they just pop right off. And then I had some leftover leaves from last year, so I'm just putting them on as well. And on the other side I'm going to put a few little branches. Now you don't have to do this if your kids aren't, if you don't feel like your kids are, you know, if you don't want them to do this, if you feel like they're not big enough. And I'm just going to put a few more. Them are the little flowers right there I'm gluing on now. I use them at I use their little stems as the limbs. And I'm just gluing some leaves on, some little decorations. Okay, now I'm going to take some of that nutmeg brown, watered down, and I'm going to be kind of staining this. So what I'm going to do is put some paint on the balls, and then I'm going, the beads I mean, and then I'm going to take and wipe the excess off so it kind of looks like stem or stain. So there I am finished, and here I put some little balls on the end thinking that I was going to hold that or use that somehow, but I ended up popping them off. But I took some jute and I wrapped it around my fingers several times, about 10 times, and then I kind of held it together while I took a strip of the jute and wrapped it around and around and glued it and made a little bow of that. But because when I was filming this I was out of frame, it didn't show up, so now I'm just going to tell you how I did this. And I am now using some foam glitter little balls that came from Christmas last year. They're gold, and I got them at the Dollar Tree. They have some cool looking fall ones that come in green and orange and brown, but I didn't have any of them left over. I'm gonna have to do a fall haul, I guess. But here I'm just doing another little bow for that other side. When I get through, before I display this for real, I will take a hot glue gun, and all those little strings and strands from the glue gun, I will melt them away and you won't be able to see them. You can use a chenille to make a bow. You can buy a bow already made. You don't have to put a bow on, just depending on what you want, or if you're doing this with kids, what they are capable. And here I'm clipping those off. And I ended up just finding a little scrap piece of wood that I had laying around, and I'm going to stain it the same way as I did the other one, or the beads. I'm just going to paint that on, and it's really watered down, so it doesn't go on very, it goes on very kind of translucent. I'm going to do that on the front, back, and all the sides. And then I'm going to glue my little square pumpkin onto that piece of wood so that it will stand up on its own. Then I had a few little decorations fall off, and then I decided to add just a few more because I'm kind of OCD that way. And this is the finished projects that we've done today. I hope that you enjoyed these, and I hope that you'll pop back again. Thank you very much for stopping by today, and please, if you like what you see, hit the like button, share with your friends, and if you want to, I'm going to post another video that you can click onto to watch if you think you might like it. Thank you.